And then, oh, and that same year when we had the chickens, we grew tomatoes. And it was the first time we'd ever planted a seed in the ground. And I would go out to the garden and think, ooh, I need a tomato. Ooh, okay, I'm going to get tomato from the garden. And when I cut into it, it was so juicy and meaty, like thick and meaty. And I'm thinking, the tomatoes I get at the store are not like this. So just another spark. Like,
and then you find out, like, they harvest tomatoes when they're just green, put them in a gas chamber so they turn red, and then they sell them, and you go, oh, there we go. But that's part of, like, you know, mass producing that there's some wonderful benefits when you just take a few things small scale and you do it on your own. You know, there's rewards there, and it's hard work, but there's a lot of payoff there. Mm-hmm. So to kind of go back, you know, to the whys of why we got involved. Mm-hmm. You know, there was something that was driving us to go from moving. Well, actually, before we decided to move, it was the chickens and their proud eggs and their loud clucking that caused our neighbors to kind of help us realize maybe we're in the wrong area for doing this. So we did eventually move.
No, what did that lady say behind us? I didn't move to South Palm Desert to hear chickens.
Yeah, to live on a chicken farm. They're like 8 chickens. But we did. We wanted to kind of see, there was something kind of struck a chord. We wanted to kind of pursue it. And we thought about the kids, such a, you know, experience for them. I mean, neither one of us grew up that way, but for the kids, we thought, how cool would it be for them to know how to go and collect the eggs and what the chickens feed and how to help process a chicken, or how to help you to go down those paths and teach them some skills about hard work. I mean, you know, I know a lot of kids don't have opportunities to really work hard, and we wanted to give our kids opportunities, not to, like, you know, we joke around because now we're on the country and we got all these animals and they got chores, and they're 6 and 3, and by the time they're 18 they're probably going to move to like Manhattan because they can't stand it. You know, they want a condo with a deck. But we wanted to teach them those values, we wanted to teach them those things, and we wanted to learn those things. And there's nothing wrong with knowing how to take some wheat you've got in the closet, grind it up and make some bread if the store doesn't have bread or something, you know. And to have one of the things about chickens, I remember thinking, what a great alternative to food storage is like food production. You know, we got eggs and chickens there if we need it. I mean, that was kind of a turning point there.
When we were in Palm Desert, when we got our chickens, a lady gave this to me as kind of a joke, like, oh, you guys have chickens. And little did she know I was going to move away. But it was just this backyard farming book, and I started looking through it, and these pictures are like so vibrant. And I thought, ooh, I want that. I want a strawberry that looks like that. I want, you know, I want peaches and apples that look like that. I don't have all this, but like, look at that corn. I just things that keep on striking us to do what we did. So
that's what happened. And so now, like I said, we're on some land, and we've been learning, and there's things we've learned that you shouldn't do and things we've learned that we should, and that's what we want to convey. So I think for the class is a Homesteading 101 class, and a homestead is I was telling my friend about this class today, and he goes, what's a home? Like a home instead? No, homestead. It's where you're utilizing the earth. You're living off. You're utilizing some areas of self-reliance, self-sufficiency. You're an environment or whatever. So kind of one of the first things we wanted to talk about was chickens. Who's got chickens that are here? I know you guys got chickens. You guys? You got chickens? Now, who's got chickens and then has neighbors? Yeah? Neighbors are cool with it?
So far, you just keep bringing them eggs. And
oh, yeah?
Okay. I'm sure they hear guts.
Yeah. One of the chickens, when we were in the city, when we were in Palm Desert, one of the chickens, you know, at a certain point they start getting, you know, exploratory, you know, and they hopped over the wall, and my neighbor comes over and goes, did I see your wife chasing a chicken down the street? Yeah, you saw that, didn't you?
And then there's so many things you learn, because I was so nervous. I'm like, we're not supposed to have chickens. I'm like chasing it all over the neighborhood. And now, when I want to herd the chickens, you just go like this, and they follow.
So shake a little can of food, you know, and they come right over.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have chickens, feel free to if you've got a comment or things that you've noticed and stuff, and for those who don't, if you have questions about as we're going through something, we're gonna go through a few of the basic smaller things that you can do on a homestead, or things you can do in the backyard in town. and things that you might need some more property if you got into that desire. So with chickens, I mean, we literally went to Dan's feed. I had to call around. Oh yeah.
I just have a quick question. I know you said that your chickens run free in your yard. Do you have dogs?
Mm-hmm.
And are they okay with
Oh, I wish I blew up this picture. When they were little baby chicks, we have a Italian Mastiff, and he's big.
Wow.
And they were in the cage. I guess by then they went from an aquarium to like, I don't know, a little cage.
It was like
area?
a dog cage, like a small dog cage, right?
Yeah.
With some sides up so they couldn't get out and some straw.
Yeah.
And that's what they were in the living room for.
Our dog was like this. He goes like this and drools, and I'm like, oh.
It's like his nose is like 2 inches from the cage, and drool's just running. I said, look at these chickens are like this big. But you do have, you know.
We trained him like he went like this to one of the chickens once, and we go, Hank, no.
There are things to be mindful that we'll get into, because you've got coyotes, you've got neighborhood dogs that aren't as kind as your dog that's friendly with chickens. We had a puppy, and the puppy we had to keep away from because he would do everything he could to get in there and mess with them. So our chickens stay in about a 3,000. It's 70 by 70 or so area from the morning till about 2 in the afternoon.
Because they lay their eggs around like 10ish to 2.
And
that's when they lay their eggs.
Before we had them open in an open area all over the property, we'd get like 2 eggs a day. And then a week later we'd be climbing under a tree with the kids, and there'd be 10 eggs under there. We'd be like,
or like in the back of Nathan's truck, there's a bunch of eggs.
We'd look in the bed of my truck, and there's like 4 eggs under the toolbox or something. So we keep them in an area so that they do know where they go to lay their eggs. And then in the afternoon we open it up, and they literally just run all over. And our whole property's fenced in, but they get to eat grass and bugs and stuff like that all day.
And it's the coolest thing ever. Have you heard of the saying? So many sayings come from a farm. The chickens go home to roost. And like when it starts becoming nighttime, they just all flock in and they find a place to roost.
Keep the gate open, and they all just, no matter where they are on the property, they all come running back in when it's getting dark, and they go up in their coop, and then, or they go up and come up and roost in the trees. Jim?
I was going to say, the benefit for having them out and about too is they eat the ticks, they dig up all the bugs, the spiders, the things that you really don't want around the base of your house. So they're your natural, if you let animals do what they're supposed to do, it's amazing how it all regulates each other. You know, they all help that same thing. But I was going to say with our chickens, we found on a Craigslist ad, you know, they were really cheap chickens and they were already laying eggs. And so we thought, oh, this is great. So we went and we picked them up, and they were literally bald chickens. I mean, like maybe one feather. And I'm all, oh, but for some reason we got them anyway because they were already laying. And what we found out was that they were, he had an egg farm, and he kept 5 in a cage, and then they have a conveyor belt where they peck just the right amount of food to keep them laying their eggs. And they peck each other to death because that's what chickens do is they peck, they scratch. And so if they're not able to all day in a little cage, then they end up pecking each other. And so since we brought them out to our house, they all have their feathers now because they're free range. It's amazing how healthy they look. And all I can think of is, well, those are the eggs in the store from these unhealthy dying chickens, you know, that are just yucky. So it is, when they get to do what they're supposed to do, you'll have the healthiest eggs.
They thrive. You do.
Yeah.
Debbie, do you have a...
Oh yeah, I wanted to encourage everybody to check with your cities. A lot of cities now will allow you to have hens in your backyard. So you can check the ordinances of different cities. Los Angeles is one. Believe it or not, Oakland is another.
Wow.
So you can have a small flock of hens in your backyard. No roosters, generally, but hens. And I would also like to encourage everybody to check out the possibility of investing in heritage poultry. And those are different breeds that are now, some on the verge of extinction because the commercial birds have taken over. But they're going to be a hardier bird. They're going to be a longer laying bird. You'll get 5 to 7 years of eggs versus 2 to 3 with a commercial bird.
Yeah.
And they won't necessarily grow into a meat bird as quickly, but they're going to be more disease tolerant and be able to accommodate being out in the environment versus in a commercial situation where the environment is very controlled.
It's amazing how much genetic alteration things have done in order to accomplish the things that have been done, to feed so much.
So does anybody know whether it's acceptable in Temecula?
I don't.
It is.
Quarter acre.
I've heard that you can't have.
Different places
Well,
probably.
associations will try to crack down, but I'm almost positive Temecula has.
They're okay.
If you look, if you were to go beyond the association, you're allowed to.